Hi, my dear friends. Welcome back to another Python tutorial class. And in this class also, we shall continue with the for loop. Now, here you have a variable L1 to which a list is assigned. This is the list, and these are the values 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. Now, if I begin from the left-hand side towards the right-hand side, then the index position is 0, corresponding to this 100. Then index position is 1 for 200. Index position is 2 for 300. Index position is 3 for 400. And index position is 4 for 500. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if I basically start my journey from the reverse side, that is from the right hand side towards the left hand side, if I go, then this value 500, it lies at what index position? Minus 1. This value 400, it lies at what index position? Minus 2. Then this value 300, it lies at this index position, that is minus 3. Then this value 200, it lies at what index position? It lies at index position minus 4. And this value 100, it lies at what index position? At minus 5. So from here it is minus 1, then minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, and minus 5. Okay, so the question is acquire the list values in reverse order. So you just basically apply the for loop for I in range. Then inside the range, what I pass? Minus 1, which is the start value, or you can say the start index, comma, minus len. Len we know it is used to calculate the length. Inside len function, what do I pass? I pass this iterable L1 variable, which is a list. Then after that, minus 1, comma, this minus 1. So this minus of ln L1 minus 1. This is the stop index, that is stop value, which is always excluded. And this minus 1 is for the step size. So correspondingly, how will it look like? Now for I in range minus 1, comma. Now here, frankly speaking, what is the length of L1? The length of L1 is basically there are 5 elements. So length of L1 will be 5. Okay. So here you have minus of a here we have minus of len of L1 minus len of L1. Here we have len of L1 is what? 5, and outside we have minus, so it is minus 5. And additionally outside here we have minus 1, so minus 5 minus 1, that means minus 6. Okay, comma, minus 1, because here we have to go in the reverse order. When you have to go in the reverse order, then you have to apply the negative step, that is minus 1. This you cannot afford to exclude. Like in case of positive step plus 1, if you want to apply, then no need to write it also. By default, Python will understand that if the step size is not mentioned, it is a positive step and it will be of plus 1 magnitude. So sometimes we to reduce the length of the code, we skip writing the step size, which is plus 1. But that is going from left to right, that is in the positive step. But when we're trying to go in the reverse order, negative step, then this minus 1 has to be written. Okay, so basically len of L1 is nothing but your 5. Okay, so here that's why minus 5 is put in place of internally. Minus of len L1 will be nothing but your minus 5, and here you have minus 1. So minus 5 minus 1 is equals to minus 6. That's what comes here. And we are going from minus 1 towards minus 6 or minus 5. So in the reverse order we are going. So here it is mandatory to mention the step size, which is minus 1. So how will this range look like? So start value will be there, start index will be there, minus 1, then it will be minus 2, then it will be minus 3, then it will be minus 4, then it will be minus 5. Up to minus 5 it will go. Range, the range of minus 1 comma minus 6 comma minus 1, here it means that it will start its journey internally from minus 1, then it will increase by minus 1. Minus 1 minus 1 is minus 2, minus 2 minus 1 is minus 3, minus 3 minus 1 is minus 4, minus 4 minus 1 is minus 5. It will go up to minus 5, not up to minus 6, because this is the stop value or stop index which is excluded. So Python will go just before the stop value. So just before the stop value, that is just before minus 6, we have minus 5. Okay, now you can print Now, after this for loop you have written here, give double colon and hit enter, and you go to the next line, print L1 of I. Okay. So at first, what will be printed? L1 of I. I starts from minus 1, isn't it? I starts with minus 1. So L1 of minus 1. L1 of minus 1 is what? Here you see L1 of minus 1. Minus 1 is the index position. So L1 of minus 1, where minus 1 is the index position, means the value at L1 of minus 1 will be picked up here, which is nothing but your 500. Then the control goes back to line number 5 and the for loop continues. So I will iterate over to the next value, which is minus 2. And this is nothing but your index only. Then again goes to the next line, print L1 of I. So this time, what is the value of I? The value of I is minus 2. So L1 of minus 2, where this minus 2 corresponds to the index position of the list. So at minus 2 index position of the list L1, what value lies? 400. That value will be picked up here. Okay, so 500 and then 400 are printed here. After that, the control goes back to line number 5. For loop continues. I iterates over to the next value, minus 3. This corresponds to the index. So L1, print L1 of I. What will happen here? It will print internally L1 of minus 3. L1 of minus 3 means at minus 3 index position of L1, the value will be picked up, which is nothing but your 300. You see, corresponding to this, 300 will be picked up and it will be printed. And again, the for loop continues. The control goes back to line number 5. Now I iterates over to the next value, which is minus 4. And in which step the values are changing? By the step size of minus 1. Okay. Now, so in the next line, it comes out to be print L1 of I. So that means L1 of minus 4. So minus 4 index position of L1 will be taken up. At minus 4 index position of L1, what is the value? 200. That's what will be picked up, and that's what will be printed here. Then again, the control goes back to line number 5, and now I iterates over to this value minus 5. So now print L1 of I. What is I here? Minus 5. So minus 5th index position of L1 will be the minus 5th index position of L1. It will be first of all selected, and whatever value is there at this index position, there is minus 5 index position of L1, whatever value lies, that will be picked up, which is here 100. 100. And in this way, if you basically run this, you see all these values of L1 are printed in the reverse order. Now, if you come down to the next one, that is to the next cell here, here you see, here I have str1 variable, which is equals to world. So string value is assigned, print list. Now, range function directly, if I print, I won't get the actual sequence of numbers. In order to get the actual sequence of numbers, you can apply the for loop or you can apply the list function. So inside the list function, you can pass your entire range function. Okay. So here, print function is there. Inside print, I first pass the list function. Inside the list function, then I pass this entire range function. Okay. So here what will happen again, you see what is the length of this str1. How many elements are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the length of str1 here is equals to 5. Okay. So ultimately what I'm trying to print here is list print list. Then inside the list function I'm passing this range minus 1 comma, then what is there? Minus of len str1 minus 1. Okay. So minus len of str1 will be what? It will be minus 5. So here you will have minus 5, and then additionally here you have minus 1. So here additionally you will have minus 1. That means minus 5 minus 1 means minus 6. And since we are going in the reverse order, step size of minus 1 has to be provided here. So that's what I've provided here. Okay. So again, range minus 1 comma minus 6 comma minus 1 will yield what? Minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5. Already we have seen this, and all these values will be printed. Minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5 will be printed. Here you can see this list is printed because ultimately I'm typecasting it. List function will not only list out the sequence of numbers, but those sequence of numbers will be typecasted into list format. That's why you see minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5. These are all enclosed inside a list. Okay. Now, in another way, I can also go like here you have line number 3, print. Here you have the print function. Inside print function, you pass first of all the list function. Then inside the list function, I pass this range. Range alien of str1 minus 1 minus 1 minus 1. What does it yield? This will yield print of list. List is the function. Inside this, I pass the range of alien str1 minus 1. So ln of str1 is what? Ln of str1 is nothing but your 5. Okay, so instead of this ln of str1, it will be replaced by the value of 5, and then here we have minus 1. So 5 minus 1. 5 minus 1 is nothing but your 4, comma, comma. Here inside in the middle we have minus 1. This is nothing but your stop index or stop value, which is always excluded. So what will happen here? That value will be taken which appears just before the stop value. So just before minus 1, what value appears? It is basically 0. That is what the value which appears, isn't it? Before minus 1, comma. Here I give the step size which is minus 1, because ultimately I'm going in the reverse order: 4, then 3, then 2, then 1, then 0. If you see here from LHS side, the index position of this one is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And if I go from the right hand side, then either you can take this as the index position minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5, or you can also conceive it like 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So even when you're going from 4 to 0, you are going in the negative direction, that is negative step you require, and that's why I've provided here this minus 1. Okay, so this ln of str1 minus 1 will be nothing but ln of str1, which is 5, 5 minus 1, which is 4. This will be the start value, that is the start index, comma, minus 1, which is the stop value or stop index, which is always excluded. So which value will be taken? The value which appears just before the stop value. So minus 1 is the stop value. Before that, what value appears? 0, comma, minus 1 is the step size. So if you print this entire thing, then again you will get a list, and inside the list you will have these values: 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, that is, it will start with 4, then minus 1. 4 minus 1 is 3, 3 minus 1 is 2, 2 minus 1 is 1, 1 minus 1 is 0. This entire thing will be printed inside a list. Okay, now what you do is that for I in range, then inside the range function you pass ln of str1 minus 1, comma minus 1, comma minus 1. We have already seen this, that what will this yield? It will yield, that is this range function. Inside this range function, whatever is there, it will yield what? Range of ln of str1 minus 1. Ln of str1 minus 1 is nothing but your 4. We have already seen that, because ln of str1 is nothing but your 5. 5 minus 1 is 4. So this will be the start value or start index, comma. In the middle we have here minus 1, which is the stop value or stop index. It is excluded. So which value will be taken? 0 value will be taken, because it appears just before the stop value minus 1. Then you have to mention the step size, which is minus 1. Okay, so it will go for this actually the internally the range will start from 4, then 3, then 2, then 1, then 0, because it is decrementing by minus 1. And at each step you will have to print str1 of I. Okay, so begins with 4. When the for loop starts, I iterates over 4. Then I will iterate over to 3, then to 2, then to 1, then to 0. Okay, so when I is 4, right now I starts its journey thanks to the for loop. I iterates over 4. Print str1 of I. So what will this yield? str1 of I. What is I? It is nothing but 4. So str1 4 means fourth index position of str1. What is there at fourth index position of str1? It is this D. So this D is picked up, and this D will be printed. Okay, so this D here, as you can see, has been printed. Then this print function is inside the for loop. For loop has not yet been completed, because I has to go up to 0. After that the for loop will be completed. Till that, for loop continues. So from line number 5, the control goes back to line number 4 again, and now your I becomes 3. So right now here we have print str1 of I, that means str1 of 3, that means third index position of str1, which is nothing but your L, and this L will be printed as you can see here. Then again the control goes back from line 5 to line 4, and I now iterates over to this value of 2. So print str1 of I means str1 of 2, second index position of str1. What is there? This alphabet R, and this R will be printed here. Okay. Now the for loop has not yet been completed, so the control goes back to line number 4 again. Now I iterates over to this value 1. Print str1 of I means str1 of 1. That means for 1th index position of str1. At 1th index position of str1, what value you have? O. So this O value will be printed. Then again the control goes back to line number 4, and for loop continues, and I iterates over to value of 0. Now print str1 of I. What is the value of I? I is right now 0. So str1 of 0 is what? That means str1 of 0 is corresponds to this capital W. Str1 of 0 corresponds to this capital W, because at 0th index position of str1 you have capital W. Okay. Uh, so that's how you get W. That's how you get W. Okay. And directly also, if you want to go like just in the front end side from LHS to RHS, then simply print list str1. Print list str1 will do what? All the elements of str1 will be picked up one by one and shall be enclosed inside a list. So first W is picked up, then your O is picked up, then R is picked up, then L is picked up, then D is picked up. Okay, so just run this. Yeah. Then next here you have another string value str1 is equals to coding. Now simply for I in range, now the formulas or the steps that I'm showing to you, those are universal. Okay, so here also len of str1, like for I in range, inside the range function I'm passing len of str1 minus 1 comma minus 1 comma minus 1. So what will it yell internally? Range. Now len of str1, how many elements are there inside str1? 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 elements are there, and 6 minus 1 ultimately it will happen here. Why? Because that's what I've given here, len of str1 minus 1, len of str1 minus 1. So len of str1 is what? Len of str1 is 6, because there are 6 elements inside str1. So 6 minus 1 will be nothing but your 5, comma, here already we have seen it is minus 1. The this is the stop value or stop index which is excluded, so that value will be included, which will be appearing just before the stop value. So just before minus 1, 0 appears, and as I will be going in the reverse order, I will have to give this reverse step size or the negative step size, that is minus 1. Now as you can see here, what is the index position here? 0, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And in the reverse order, if I go 5, then 4, then 3, then 2, then 1, then 0. So as we can see, len of str1 minus 1 if I do, len of str1 minus 1 if I do, then what will happen? The positive index of the last value will be taken up. The positive index of the last value will be taken up. What is the last value here? G. And what is its positive index? 5. So that 5 will be picked up, and I will have to go till the end. So here already C will be picked up, because thanks to this 0, although I have not mentioned here 0, I have mentioned here minus 1, and you already know why I have done that. Okay, and since I will be going from 5, like this range will yield what? 5, then 4, because 5 minus 1 is 4, step size is minus 1, then further 4 minus 1 is 3, 3 minus 1 is 2, 2 minus 1 is 1, 1 minus 1 is 0. So it will go from 5, 4, 3 to 1, 0. Now correspondingly you do it, print I comma str1 of I. So I is 0, and str1 of I means str1 of 0. I, it begins its journey from 5. I begins its journey from 5. So the value of I is 5. And str1 of I will be nothing but str1 of 5. So at fifth index position of str1, what do you have? G. So it is nothing but your G. That's why you get here, you see, the value of I, which is nothing but your I, the value of I, which is nothing but your 5, and str1 of 5, which is nothing but your G. Okay. Then the control shifts back to line number 2 again, and I, it moves to the next it moves to the next value, that is 4. It moves to the next value, that is 4. And now what will happen? Print I, which is 4, comma, str1 of I. Str1 of I means str1 of 4. Str1 of 4 is nothing but your n. Str1 of 4 is nothing but your n. Okay. So this 4n will be printed. Then after that, again the control goes back to line number 2. Now I iterates over to 3. And again you have print I, comma, str1 of I. So I is 3 and str1 of I is nothing but your str1 of 3. And str1 of 3 is what? Str1 of 3 is your this small I. So this small I appears here, and that's what you get in your output, 3I. Then again I iterates over to 2. I iterates over to 2. So print I comma str1 of I means I is 2, and str1 of I will be nothing but your str1 of 2. So at second index position of str1, what value we have? D. That's what will be picked up here and accordingly printed here. So you will have here 2D. Then again the control goes back to, because the for loop has not yet ended, so it continues till the for loop ends. So a control goes back to line number 2, and there now I iterates over to the next value, which is 1. And print I comma str1 I means here I is 1, str1 of I will be str1 of 1. Str1 of 1 means at first index position of str1, whatever value is there, that will be picked up, which is nothing but your O, and that's what will be printed here, 1O. Then the control goes back to line number 2 again, and now I iterates over to 0. So print I comma str1 of I is nothing but your right now 0, and str1 of I will be str1 of 0. So at 0th index position of str1, whatever value you will have, that will be picked up, capital C, and that's what will be printed here, 0C. Okay, just try to run this cell. Just try to run this cell. Yeah. Then next you have the next way. What you can do is now in the next cell you see str1 is equals to coding. And in the next line, resi is a variable to which an empty blank string is assigned. Resi is equals to an empty blank string. So for I in range, inside the range function, what I'm passing here, len of str1 minus 1, comma minus 1, comma minus 1. Okay, the same thing. What will happen here? It will basically start with 5, then 4, then 3, then 2, then 1, then 0, just like the previous cell only. Okay, just like the previous cell. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, and just here you have to give the hash. Here you will have to give hash. Okay, so resi is equals to resi plus str1 of I. So what will this yield? What will this yield? Resi is equals to resi, which is blank or empty string, plus str1 of. Now I begins its journey from where? I begins its journey with 5. So str1 of 5. Str1 of 5 means nothing but your the last fifth index position of str1. What value is there? G is there. So plus G. So this will yield out as G. Okay. This will yield out as small g. That's what will be printed here. Then the and print resi. So resi value will be printed, which is your small g. Now the control goes back to line number 3 again, and I iterates over to the next value, which is your 4. I iterates over to the next value, which is 4. So resi is equals to resi plus str1 of I. What is the value of resi currently right now? The value of resi currently right now is small g, plus str1 of I, plus str1 of I. Okay, so str1 of, what is the value of I here? It is 4. So str1 of 4, str1 of 4 means small n. Str1 of 4 means small n. Okay. So this will be your is equals to small g plus your small n. So this will be your is equals to gn, and that's what is printed here. That's what is printed here. Then the control goes back to line number 3, and the for loop continues. I then iterates over to the next value, which is 3. So resi is equals to resi plus str1 of I. So what is the value of resi right now? The value of resi right now is this one gn. The value of resi right now is your gn plus str1 of where was I? 3. str1 of 3. str1 of 3 means gn plus this one. This value will be picked up. That is I. So it will become equals to gni. Okay. Then again I moves iterates over to the next value, which is 2. Now, in the next line, you get reci is equals to reci, and correspondingly, print will be also executed. After line number 4, line number 5 will be also executed. So, print reci, already we have got up to GNI. Okay. Then, reci is equals to again, reci is equals to again, what? Reci is equals to this reci plus str1 of I. The last value of reci will be picked up, which is gni plus str1 of I. str1 of I. That means 5, 4, 3, 2. I is at 2. Right now I value is at 2. So is equals to gni plus str1 of 2 is what? D. So you get gni d. Then again the control goes back to line number 3. I iterates over to 1, and again reci is equals to reci plus str1 of I. So it will be is equals to the last value of reci. The last value of reci is gnid plus str1 of 1. str1 of 1 is equals to gnid plus str1 of 1. That means O. str1 of 1 is nothing but your O. Okay. So is equals to gnido. That's what we get. And then correspondingly, it is printing also the value of reci, which we get here, gnido. Then the control goes back to line number 3 again, and I now iterates over to this value 0. So reci is equals to reci plus str1 of I. So it will be is equals to the last value of reci, which is gnido plus str1 of 0. str1 of 0 is nothing but your capital C. So ultimately this will yield gnido capital C, and that's what is printed here, gnido capital C. So if you run this, you get here. Okay.